Live from Kulturen. I'm standing here with Reverend Stephen Evans of Marylebone, London.
Thank you. It's very good to be here in Lund.
Yes. So you just held a keynote on how to be a church in downtown London or in London. What challenges do you face?
Challenges are enormous. There's the challenge of having an enormously big building and the costs that it involves in terms of both repair, maintenance and development. Finding a purpose within the very centre of a world capital city. Dealing with our primary function of being a place of worship and proclamation of the gospel, but also a place that serves the community that is around us.
And how is that balance?
For us, we have a good-sized congregation, so we attract people to worship. We work well with young people from school age to university age. We also, of course, have Harley Street and the whole very centre of the medical world in London in our parish. And so that charism of Christian healing is something that we are very much involved with. And as well as offering chaplaincy to local hospitals, we also work with people living with dementia. And in the church itself, we have a very large 10,000 patient primary healthcare offering through a NHS doctor's surgery, and as a parish we employ a team of psychiatrists and psychotherapists so that we work in the field of psychotherapy as well. So we try and build on what we can do well and something that addresses the need that is peculiar to the location where we are set and where we find ourselves.
The church being very much in touch what is happening in the immediate surrounding, I take it.
Yes, I think one of the things we take very seriously is what it means to be the parish church. So everyone who lives or works or travels into our area, and that is 300,000 people a day, have a call upon us. And therefore we need to work out how we can best address that need in our answering that gospel imperative to teach, to heal, to bring people into some experience of God's love for them.
So what would you say would be the keys for that parish work? Would there be the keys for successful work? Or
success is always very difficult, isn't it, to address. I think one is, do people come and participate in the offering that we make? And the answer is they seem to, which would suggest it is success. Are we reaching everyone we could reach? Then the answer is no, because there are great questions of resourcing and finance, and nothing comes without a financial cost to it. So how does one address the enormous financial needs? And in England, the situation is that every single parish church is entirely responsible for all the money. So nothing comes from the state, nothing comes from the Church of England. It is all what we do as a congregation. So just raising the money to keep things going is perhaps our biggest challenge.
Yeah. Raising money in maybe one of the financial districts of the world, really.
Yes, I mean it's a place where there is lots of money. Getting people to part with their money is not so easy, and that I think is the challenge that is most acute for us at the moment. Is that we are to do what we do costs a lot of money. How do we raise that money, and how do we go on raising it in a sustainable way to allow us not just to keep doing what we do, but to develop new initiatives and to meet people in a world that is changing so fast around us, both culturally, religiously, and also with the mobility of people, and also changing population. Well, we live in, the parish has some of the most expensive housing anywhere in the world. One local terraced house just sold for £200 million. And the person who bought it said, of course, I'll have to spend another £200 million just making it habitable. Well, that's not the real world for most people. That person does not come to church. So, you know, there are these challenges that, yes, there is money, but are people happy to put that money in the service of the gospel, especially in a place where those people now moving into the parish come from traditions other than Christianity, or those who come from a Christian background would no longer identify themselves as people of faith or wanting to belong to the parish that is theirs, but is not one that they identify with anymore. So there are some major, major challenges, and I think those are not just the problems of the big city. Those are now questions of communities where people have holiday homes but don't live year-round, places where the whole demography of who lives and works in a place have just changed beyond any recognition since the setting up of the parish church, and therefore people's relationship to it in many cases now is rather tenuous. And what do we therefore do with it? And that's what this conference is about, isn't it? Trying to find how we preserve, develop and use those places in a very changing environment.
And I guess in your role, one subject is to stay right now and to act right now. But if you look a little bit further in the future, if you were to look at your parish in say about 20 years, what do you see in front of you?
Well, I think part of the problem is that, not part of the problem, part of the challenge is we have to act now for there still to be the work being done in 20 years' time. So at the moment, we're very much working out of a vision that is now 35, 40 years old. Everything that happened 30 years ago now needs replacing. Just things like the electrics, the lighting, the heating, the ventilation, the lifts, the staircases, everything needs redoing. It is now very expensive to do that sort of stuff. We've just been told that the whole roof of the church has to come off and be replaced. That's £3.5 million, which we weren't expecting. Where do we find the money? How do we do it? So in 20 years' time, there could be a roofless ruin in what is now a vibrant, exciting, engaged, both place of worship and community resource. Who knows? I sense the next 6 months really will help us to work out whether the new vision that we had grown and were working to is sustainable, or how much of it is attainable, or whether we have to do something which is very, very different just in order to survive in what is a monumental building right in the heart of a city that proclaims that God is alive and that people, do engage and change and are served by the presence of that building and, more importantly, the people who gather within it, but who are also responsible 100% for funding all of the work that we do and keeping up the building as well.
Many challenges ahead, I can tell.
Yeah, many challenges.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.